guys, my name is Monica and welcome back to my channel. So today, for the title of this video, I have my notes right here. I'm gonna talk about my favorite fictional female characters and what they mean to me. You know, this is very much a very personalized type of video, and I just thought, you know what, despite all the subcategories that I have, I thought, other than like my booktube, newbie CAG, and like probably a few others, that I thought maybe it's a good chance, yeah, to know me, but also to bring, you know, the fictional woman into the world and to give them appreciation. Of course, I can't represent all, but I'm here to represent some fews that are personally my own favorite. Okay. So the first one that I have on the list is, if you're an anime fan, you probably know who she is Historia Reiss from Attack on Titan. So, you know, for context, Historia Reiss is basically a character also known as Crystal Lens in the earlier seasons, where she was like this bubbly, you know, girl full of niceness, you know, and she was the shortest in the class. She was blonde, you know, all that type of stuff. She was kind of like the follower, you know, the nice girl, that type of stuff. But, you know, once she actually becomes herself, Historia Reiss, she actually becomes more real and, you know, and all that. And she becomes a very, you know, prominent story figure throughout the story later on. And basically, I guess the reason why I love her, and I mean, I guess I'm gonna get into spoilers, is because Historia Reiss is the type of character that, you know, ends up growing up to be this woman who becomes the queen, and she becomes really strong, but her overcomeness of like not wanting to be in this world anymore, to finding a purpose into this world by still, you know, following people, but it's in her own way, is one, powerful for me and for other girls around, but also two, just a very good example to not just girls, but to everyone in general. You know, to me, she, as I said, is a strong woman, but just the way her character arc and how she, like, you know, doesn't want to be here and just, like, she doesn't know her purpose and all that, kind of relates to me in a lot of ways. And just her finding her own path and choosing what's right, but also standing in her own power was really great to me. And as like, again, with shortness, she's a role model for like short people, because I'm short. I'm 4'8" in real life. So tiny as she is and how I am, it feels nice. It really does, to like find someone who's a short people community. The next one, Penelope Featherington from Bridgeton. So, in context, so Penelope is the friends of the Bridgertons, specifically of the Bridgerton child, which is Eloise. She's the type of girl that is like, you know, is very, like, loves romance, is very nice, and just, you know, loves books. She's such a bookworm. The things, and later on, which I think, sorry for spoilers, but she loves writing, but mostly she's the writer and the author, which is Lady Whistledown. And, you know, throughout all this, and as maybe you've known throughout my channel, one of my common interests that I love was books, and, you know, she loves romance, and I mean, to be so hopeless for it. Also, just the fact that she loves writing, and she wants, you know, she loves the art of it, and she's an author herself through Lady Whistledown. And I think it's just so cool, and it just inspires me in every way, of course, to be my book lover self, and also all that, but also just to be, like, the writer, and to make her own business, and that's what I'm trying to do, especially nowadays, since, I mean, in this time that I'm making this video, I'm in my gap year high school, and, you know, just figuring it out life, and I just thought, you know, I'm trying to build myself as a creator so I can have an audience to fill in my dream to be an author, and to hopefully be a self-published author, or even maybe one day an author in traditional, who knows. One of my favorite things about Penelope is that how she grows in her confidence that she goes through, because the journey one, you know, in the beginning, she's kind of looked down upon the society. And this is, like, not trigger warning, but also just knowing of the show, she just, I don't know, she's kind of looked down as, like, ugly, and, like, because she's the more the chubbier side, but she ends up knowing her worth, and finding her worth, also knowing that she's beautiful, and that even throughout her season, she tries to find men, she finds herself, and I love that so much. Just loving herself and being more confident and just embracing herself. It's such a great thing to see. And this girl has my heart. I mean, I love every single one of them. Lucy Pevensie from the Chronicles of Narnia series. See, in context, is, I guess in the first book, there's 4 children. The Pevensie children, and one of them, the youngest, is Lucy Pevensie. She's kind of the main character of the first book. The first book, which I'm talking about, if you read it chronologically, is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. No. In the beginning, she's 8 years old, and she's very childlike, and she's very happy, and she's full of faith, and this girl, I mean, I kind of resonate with her kindness and everything, and it's just so admirable. And yes, she is a nice girl, and I strive to be more kind. I don't know about every day, but, you know, I'm trying. But one of the greatest things about her is her faith, and, I mean, I'll talk about it more later, but one of the things that I personally, like, love is God. I'm religious, I'm Catholic, but it's part of, like, the Christian, you know, and it's, you know, God and everything has changed my life. Love him and praise him and thank him. The greatest love of your life, you know. I could talk about that forever, but back to Lucy, it's just that she's my prime example. Yeah, through a girl perspective and through, like, the reader book perspective that I've loved this series for so long, but just in general, she's the type of person that if I ever had to be doubtful of faith, yeah, there's many people that I would look up to, real life, other characters, etc. But she's been my number one even before I would love her before I found God. And it's just, that to me will forever be the greatest feeling of having that type of role model and just not knowing that she's gonna be a role model one day. As much as you love her character and all that, just the greatest characters, you know, are great. You love them for a reason, you know. They're well written, or you just love them just for whatever cause you have, but just when it's a role model, it's just different. Next one is Sophia from Sophia the First. Okay, look, I mean, I haven't watched it, of course, in forever, just because I'm now older, but I forever will appreciate Sophia here. Sophia, in context, is basically, you know, in Disney realms, she's like one of the princesses, not like the classic princess. Basically, there's 2 Disneys, as people know. There's 3 technically, but the main one is Disney Channel. The other one is XD, and the other one is Juniors, which is just for kids. And of course, I found this, like everybody else, through Disney Junior. And Sophia the First, or Sophia, basically is a girl who, you know, came from the village, and her mom ended up marrying the king. She comes in, and then she ends up going to a whole new world where she's the princess and all that type of stuff, and all her adventures about finding friends, learning lessons, all that type of, 10-year-old experience. But the reason why I love her, I mean, yes, you know, the classic good hero and everything like that, or heroine, basically, is because I just love her braveness and how, like, each mission that she goes through, each type of, like, life lesson, she's the type of person that always overcomes, even at such a young age, but also, despite everything, she always has the perseverance to find a way, you know? And yeah, she may be all the qualities of, like, a girl main character you'd see in every other show, but her braveness is what stands out, and just her trying to be kind through everyone, but also showing that boldness is just so I don't know, just, when I was, younger back then, it's just good. It was good to see. It was good to, she was one of those good main characters. But her braveness is admirable, and I always will love that forever. This one is Julie Baker. Yes, from Flipped. I know this Flipped is like an underrated movie, but it's like my favorite romance film of all time. You should totally like look it up and everything. But basically, Julie Baker is this girl who's smart, she's nice, she's very curious about the world. But one of the things that we all know her for is that she has a crush on, I guess, the love interest, the male lead also, is Bryce Losky. And, despite all that, she's so head over heels for this guy, or for this boy, who she's loved, I guess, or just liked ever since 2nd grade. They're now in 8th grade, it's the whole thing, but, despite all that time, despite all the qualities, the amazing qualities that Julie Baker has, she's always had the eye on the boy next door, and it's very cute. But with Julie, I think the reason why I love her is just because, like, she's very unique. Each character in itself is unique, but she's unique in a way that, like, she just, I don't know, there's so many, how do I say this? When you see girl main characters nowadays, they're just so bland, you know what I mean? Not all of them, of course, but they're just so, like, type A, Mary Sue type of situation. Not always, but it's just, like, those things that you see a lot. But her, and, like, many others that are like her, she just has that curiosity of the world, and she just, she's the type of person that is just so intelligent and just so, like, herself that you just can't help but, like, being awed by her. And I think I just love her uniqueness so much that makes me want to be more unique. And I think that kind of makes me, like, feel like, oh, like, I love that about myself. I mean, of course, I'm not 100% like Julie, but when I'm unique in that way, it's just, it's great. And I love the sycamore trees. I think, if you see this story, she loves sycamore trees and she wants to climb some, and it's a whole thing, but it's just, I love nature because of her, and it's just, I've always wanted to climb that tree again and just see the sunset like her. It's great. Also, I love that she's very opinionated. I love a good opinionated woman, or girl, but you know what I mean. One is similar, as, like, Julie Baker, is Anne Shirley. I am basing this off the Anne with an E Netflix series more than the original book series, because by, is it L.M. Montgomery? Something like that. I'm butchering it. That's how I don't know much of the original series, but in Anne with an E and Anne, she's, like, similar to the original. She's very outspoken, type of curious girl who loves the world and all that type of stuff. And it's amazing. It really is amazing. And just knowing all that, it's, you can't help but love Anne. You can't help but want to be her, like her. It's just, she's such a unique individual that, like, no one else is like her, but in the way that, like, you just can't help but just, also she actually is, she loves books and all that, but she has such a creative mind. It just inspires me every day to be more creative like her, and curious, and love, all that type of stuff. It's just, she's great. She's really great. And the next one is Ellie Williams from The Last of Us video game series. This one, I've loved, I've watched The Last of Us probably, like, 2020, so it was, like, the summer of, like, my sophomore year. It was the summer going into my sophomore year. But at that time, I really loved, like, all main characters, but Ellie specifically, I just love, because one, she's so hilarious. I cannot. She's one of my favorite, like, funny type of characters. And two, she's so brave. Like, all those missions with the zombies and everything, like, her, like, kicking the axe, all that is so bad A. Like, I can't. And then 3, it's just, it's just Ellie. Like, I don't know. I feel like, despite everything, I guess, I am a girl, but I think, I don't know, I think I'm more of, like, a tomboy, really. I'm just more so me than anything else, but with Ellie, I can kind of see, like, yeah, she's more of a tomboy, and, like, I don't really care about the labels of tomboy, girly girl, that type of stuff. but it's just, I've never really been spoken in a way of just who I am than with Ellie. I mean, yeah, all these characters, like, are kind of a part of me, you know, but Ellie specifically, and just the way how she acts, just kind of reminds me of myself. And I love that. I think, you know, and just, like, her loving comic books, and her just, like, goofing around, and all that type of stuff, and video games, that speaks to me on a personal level. And don't get me wrong, like, as the time as I get older, you know, I try to do more girly things, and while at the end of the day we all just love things and we shouldn't be labeled as girly things or boy things, but it's just like with Ellie, I just kind of see myself in her. It just is herself, and I love that she's unapologetically herself, and that's what inspires me, and that's what I love about her. The next one is Padme, I don't know, Aladama, I believe. Yeah, let's from Star Wars. So, Padme is the type of character that, you know, we all know from the prequel series is, okay, I'm speaking in the context of only knowing the first 2 movies. I haven't watched the 3rd one yet, so I don't know if I'm really qualified to talk about her character, but from what I know right now, she's, one, I guess in context, she's the main girl for the prequel series of Star Wars. And, you know, she's the love interest of Anakin and all that type of stuff. But she's also, like, the senator. The reason why I love Padme is, one, she's very, very gorgeous. But, like, she's also just, how do I say this? She's very strong-willed. You know, like, all these girls are strong-willed, but she especially is strong-willed, and she's so intelligent. Yes, by being the queen and also being the Senate, but just, like, also just, like, playing with, like, people's minds, and just, like, knowing, like, there's this one scene from the Phantom Menace. I think that's the second. I've recently watched it, so forgive me. But it's the type of story where, but it's a type of, like, scene where she gets out of there first, and then she finds a way, and she just never gives up. And I just think that's so, like, oh, I love that. And I love that for girls who watched Star Wars and looked up to Padme, because she very is an inspirational role model for girls and all kinds, and as well as just, like, in people in general. So, as I was saying, this is a very different type of, like, time setting now, because it's now daytime. So Padme is, with everything I just listed, she's such, like, what a woman she is, you know what I mean? And then the next one is Violet Evergarden from the Violet Evergarden series. I personally love her. Like, in context, Violet Evergarden is an ex-soldier who has an amputated type of arm that was not organized, but she ended up working for a mail company. It's a whole thing and all that. But in that process, you get something called, all the things that are like traumas come up and everything. But I think for her, like, I think that's very kind of unique for her. I kind of like how she's seen as a robot, you know, like she's seen as like this weapon for the military, and then she ends up being this very, you know, emotional girl, and she ends up finding herself through her emotions and everything like that, due to experiences post military. And I think with that, and her accepting her, you know, everything, and also just the fact that it's the mail, like the writing mail, so I love the whole, like, typing thing, and just, oh, it's so great, it speaks to my heart. It's just, I don't know how to say it. It's just amazing, really. And overcoming just her struggles and everything, it's just so great. Okay, and then the next one is, well, that was the last one. This is the honorable mention. Maria Georgas. And she's from The Bachelor. With her, in context, Maria is one of the contestants for The Bachelor to win over the guy's heart. And this recent season, alongside others, she was one of them to, you know, get the current Bachelor to, you know, want her. I mean, she didn't end up winning, but that's a whole thing in itself. But you know, she's not really a fictional character, but I have to give her honorable mention. I love her. I mean, you know, just even if she was fictional or not, she's such a great role model. But what I love about her is her confidence and just how she's, I don't know, just herself, you know, and how she's just so unapologetically herself. She knows what she wants. She's that type of confident girl, or not, I guess not girl, woman. And I love her. I mean, I would, you know, love her and inspired to her if she was a fictional character or not. I know that sounds really strange to say, but yeah, that's mainly it, everyone. So those are the favorite fictional female characters and what they mean to me. And I hope that me sharing you all my characters that I loved, and plus the woman, one of the women I aspire to be, and not aspire to be, but inspire to, you know, all that is, yeah. I hope that you guys enjoy all this, and stay tuned for next time. Bye.